What if I told you you're already proven the law of attraction works? Just knowing the way you want, because look at your life right now. Everything you stress about, everything you think about late at night, everything you fear somehow keeps showing up. Not once, not twice, but in patterns. That's not bad luck. That's not coincidence. That's you attracting on autopilot. But here where it gets uncomfortable. If that's true, then it means one thing. You're not a victim of your reality. You're a contributor to it. Now, before you click off thinking this is some just think positive nonsense, let me be clear. Most people who talk about the law of attraction have no idea how it actually works. They've turned it into something soft, something passive, something unrealistic. And that's exactly why it fails them. Because the law of attraction is not about wishing, it's not about sitting there visualizing a Lamborghini and hoping it just appears. It's about something much deeper, something most people completely ignore. Here's the truth nobody tells you. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are, and that changes everything. Because wanting is lack. Think about it. When you say, I want money, why are you actually reinforcing that you don't have it? When you say, I want confidence, you're confirming to yourself that you're not confident. So even though your words sound positive, the energy behind them is not. It's rooted in absence, and your mind picks up on that instantly. Your brain doesn't respond to what you say, it responds to what you believe. And belief isn't built from one motivational video, it's built from repetition, from evidence, from your past. So if your entire life you've been reinforcing, I'm not good enough, always mess things up, things never work out for me, that becomes your baseline, that becomes your identity. And your identity is what drives your reality. So now the real question is, if your life is a reflection of who you believe you are, how do you actually change that? Because this is where most people try and they fail. Let's talk about the biggest lie in this space. Just think positive. That advice has probably ruined more people's progress than anything else because it creates a false expectation. People think they can go from doubt, insecurity, overthinking to suddenly saying, I'm successful, I'm powerful, I'm confident, and somehow the brain is just going to accept it. It doesn't work like that. Your mind isn't stupid, it knows when you're lying. So instead of creating belief, you create resistance. And that resistance shows up as overthinking, doubt, and inaction. That's why you can watch hours of motivation, feel fired up for a day, and then go right back to your old habits because nothing actually changed internally. You just temporarily overrode it. The law of attraction doesn't respond to temporary emotion, it responds to your dominant state, what you consistently think, what you consistently feel, what you consistently believe. That's what shapes your life, not a 10-minute burst of motivation. So if forcing positivity doesn't work, what does? Let's strip this back and make it real. No fluff, no vague ideas. Your brain has something called a filter, a system that decides what you notice and what you ignore. Because right now, there are opportunities around you, conversations, ideas, open doors. If your belief system says, that's not for me, you won't even see them. It's like when you buy a new car and suddenly you see that same car everywhere. Did it magically appear? No, it was always there. Your awareness just changed. That's a huge part of what people call the law of attraction. It's not that things are being magically pulled into your life, it's that your perception is shifting. And when your perception shifts, your action shift. And when your action shift, your results follow. So it's not magic, it's alignment. When you believe something is possible, you move differently. You take risks you wouldn't normally take. You speak with more certainty and you stop hesitating. And those small changes compound. But here where it gets even deeper. Because if this was only about mindset, everyone who thinks positive would be successful. And we both know that's not true. So what's missing? The missing piece is identity. Not what you say, not what you post, not even what you think sometimes, but who you believe you are at your core. Because there's always a gap between the life you want and the identity you currently hold. Let's say someone wants to be wealthy. They visualize money, they say affirmations, they even start taking action. But deep down, they still see themselves as bad with money or someone who struggles. That identity will override everything, every single time, because identity controls behavior automatically. You don't wake up and decide to be yourself, you just are. So if your identity is I'm inconsistent, you start things and stop. If your identity is I procrastinate, you'll delay even when you know better. If your identity is I'm not confident, you'll hold back without even realizing it. And then you'll say the law of attraction doesn't work, when in reality, You were working against it the entire time. So now the real shift becomes this: not how do I get what I want, but who do I need to become to naturally have it? This is where everything flips. Most people think have, do, be, meaning I have money, then I'll take action, then I'll feel confident. But reality works the opposite way: be, do, have. You become the person first, then your action align with that identity, and the results follow. If you became disciplined, truly disciplined, do you think your life would stay the same? No. Your habits would change, your standards would change, your results, they would change. If you became someone who genuinely believed, I don't quit, what happens? You keep going when it's hard. You follow through, you build momentum, and suddenly your life starts shifting. Not because you attracted something, but because you became someone different. And this is where people get frustrated, because becoming someone new, it takes time. Here's something most people don't understand: there's always a delay between who you become and what shows up in your life. You might start working on yourself today, changing your mindset, changing your habits, changing your identity, but your current reality, that's a reflection of your past self. So if you quit too early, you're quitting before your new identity has time to produce results. It's like going to the gym for a week and saying, this doesn't work. Of course it doesn't, because results lag behind effort. Always does. And that is the same with the law of attraction. You don't just think differently today and wake up tomorrow with a completely new life. There's a lag, there's a gap, a period where nothing seems to change. And this is where most people fall off, because externally, nothing is happening, but internally, everything's changing. So how do you stay locked in even when you don't see results? You control your focus. That's it. That's the game, because whatever you focus on expands. If you focus on problems, you'll see more problems. If you focus on lack, you'll feel more lack. If you focus on progress, you build momentum. Let me get this clear. This doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means choosing what you give your energy to. Two people can be in the same situation. One focused on what's going wrong, the other focused on what they can do next. Same situation, different focus, different outcomes. That's the law of attraction in motion. Not magic, not luck. It's focus, emotion, action, results. But there's one more layer, and this is the part almost nobody talks about. You don't exist in isolation. Your environment is constantly shaping you. What you watch, what you listen to, who you spend time with, it all feeds your mind. If you're surrounded by negativity, doubt, complaints, excuses, you can't expect to think differently. If everyone around you plays small, you'll feel uncomfortable thinking big. If everyone around you avoids risk, you will hesitate too. So part of using the law of attraction properly is upgrading your environment, even if that starts digitally. What are you watching every day? What kind of content are you consuming? Is it pulling you forward or keeping you stuck? Because at the end of the day, this all comes down to one thing. So now you understand this. It's not just your thoughts, it's not just your actions, it's not even just your mindset. It's the combination of all three, driven by who you believe you are. Because at this point, you might be thinking, okay, I get it, but what do I actually do? So let's make it simple, not easy, but simple. The first step is awareness. You need to start catching your own patterns, your thoughts, your reactions, your default behaviors, because most of what you do right now is automatic. You don't choose to doubt yourself, it just happens. You don't choose to hesitate, it just happens. The moment you become aware of it, you create space to interrupt it. When you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, don't just let it run. Pause, challenge it, replace it with something more useful. No fake positivity, but something real. Instead of, I'll never succeed, shift to, I'm still figuring it out. That's believable, and belief is what matters. This is where everything changes. You don't build confidence by thinking, you build it by doing. Every time you take action, you create evidence. Evidence that you're capable, evidence that you're improving, evidence that you're becoming someone different. And that evidence starts to rewrite your identity. This isn't a one-day thing. This isn't even a one-week thing. This is repetition daily. Because one day, without even realizing it, you'll respond differently, you'll think differently, you'll act differently. And that's when you know your identity has shifted. There's a moment in life, and if you ever experience this, you know exactly what I mean, where things just start to click. Opportunities show up, people respond differently to you, you feel more certain, more grounded. And it's not because the world suddenly changed. It's because you did. You stopped chasing and started aligning. You stopped hoping and started moving with certainty. You stopped wishing for a better life and became someone who creates it. And that's when the law of attraction finally makes sense, not as something magical, but as something that you, me, and everyone can do. So if you take anything from this video, let it be this. You're not waiting for your life to change. Your life is waiting for you to change. Every thought you repeat, every action you take, every standard you accept is shaping your reality right now. So the question isn't, does the law of attraction work? The question is, why are you currently attracting without even realizing it? Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you take control of it, everything changes. If this shifted your perspective even slightly, make sure you subscribe because this isn't surface level motivation. This is about rewiring how you think, how you move, and how you build your life. Your next level is not out there, it's in who you decide you become next.